In life, everything is connected. The way we move, the way we feel, and even the strength of our body, all are reflections of the choices we make every single day. But strength is not just about the effort you put into your training. True strength starts from within. It starts from awareness. Deficiency begins in ignorance. Awareness is the first remedy. Most people walk through life unaware of what their bodies are truly asking for. They feel fatigue and blame their schedule. They lose strength and blame aging. But what they often fail to see is that the body is always communicating. It is not silent. It is constantly giving signs, constantly showing us what is lacking and what must be restored. The problem is not that the signals aren't there. The problem is that we are not listening. We ignore the early signs of weakness. We overlook the tightness in the joints. We downplay the loss of energy, assuming it's just a part of life. But true mastery begins when we open our eyes, when we stop assuming and start observing, when we stop rushing and begin to reflect. Most deficiencies do not arrive overnight. They accumulate in silence. They grow stronger the longer we ignore them. Just as rust weakens a blade, deficiency weakens the body, slowly, steadily, and visibly. This ignorance is not only the absence of knowledge, it is the absence of attention. When we do not pay attention to what we eat, how we feel, and how our body responds, we invite imbalance into our system. We live in a time where information is everywhere, yet wisdom is rare. People know what protein is. They can count calories. They buy supplements, but they often lack understanding of how each nutrient supports the whole body. This lack of awareness creates gaps that lead to weakness, illness, and loss of vitality. One of the most important lessons in life is this: the body reflects the mind. If the mind is distracted, the body suffers. If the mind is focused, the body aligns. Awareness is the bridge between knowledge and transformation. It is what allows us to see clearly, to act consciously, and to make choices that serve our long-term well-being. Imagine walking into a forest. If you move too quickly, you miss everything. The sounds, the patterns of light, the subtle rustle of the leaves. But if you slow down, if you walk with presence, suddenly the entire world opens up. This is what awareness does inside the body. It allows us to sense what is wrong before it becomes a crisis. It helps us notice when our recovery is slow, when our performance declines, when our strength doesn't return. Most people only take action when symptoms are loud. But the wise do not wait for pain. They observe the whispers of the body. They respond before things fall apart. This is the discipline of awareness. To overcome deficiency, you must first stop running from the truth. Take a moment each day to connect with your body. Ask yourself, am I tired or am I depleted? Am I sore or am I lacking nourishment? Am I losing strength? Or is my body simply missing the tools it needs to rebuild? These are not just questions. These are doorways to deeper understanding. The answers may not come instantly, but the act of asking invites awareness, and awareness, in time, reveals what must change. Muscle loss is not just about aging. It is not just about lack of exercise. It is often the result of long-term neglect. Without certain vitamins, your muscles cannot repair, cannot grow, cannot hold the strength you worked hard to build. Vitamin D, B12, magnesium, iron, and others, these are not optional. They are essential. They are part of the design. And yet they are easily missed. Poor diet, stress, lack of sunlight, poor absorption, these are all modern conditions that create ancient problems in a new form. You can train hard, but if your foundation is weak, your structure will collapse. So the first step is not to lift more, but to learn more. not to eat more, but to eat with intention. Not to supplement randomly, but to test, to investigate, to understand your own body's needs. It is not weakness to admit you don't know what's missing. It is wisdom to seek it out. Begin with curiosity, continue with honesty, and act with discipline. This is the path that leads not just to stronger muscles, but to a stronger mind and a more resilient life. There is great power in simplicity. You do not need complex answers. You need to return to the basics and master them. Are you getting enough sun? Are you sleeping enough for your body to restore itself? Are you breathing fully, eating mindfully, and moving with purpose? These are not just health tips. They are the foundations of vitality. If these areas are ignored, no amount of training or supplementation can replace what is lost. Let your life be guided by awareness. Let your choices come from presence, not habit. When you move with awareness, when you live with clarity, your body will begin to respond. Your strength will return. Your energy will rebuild. Your confidence will rise, not from external appearance, but from the deep knowing that you are giving your body what it truly needs. Do not wait for injury to learn this lesson. Do not wait for weakness to teach you about balance. Begin now, not tomorrow, not next week. Now, close your eyes. Take a breath. Feel what your body is telling you. That is where healing begins. That is where strength is born. And that is where the journey from ignorance to mastery truly starts. Without vitamin D, the body forgets how to hold its strength. Vitamin D is more than just a nutrient. It is a messenger, a silent force that works deep inside the body, influencing the way our muscles function, the way our bones support us, and the way our energy flows. Many people associate strength only with exercise, with movement, with effort. But true strength cannot be built on effort alone. It requires the right conditions within the body. Vitamin D is one of those conditions. Without it, the body begins to lose its ability to maintain and repair muscle. The signals that tell muscles to grow become weaker. The foundation of strength begins to crack, and we may not even notice until the damage is already done. Vitamin D is unique because it is both a vitamin and a hormone. It does not just support one system. It influences many. It plays a vital role in calcium absorption, which is essential for muscle contraction. When calcium levels drop, muscles begin to misfire. They cramp, they weaken, they tire quickly. And over time, without the support of vitamin D, the body's ability to maintain lean muscle mass begins to fade. You might feel tired more often. You might find recovery from workouts slower. You might feel your body is not responding the way it used to. This is not just age. This is not just lack of effort. This could be a deep internal imbalance. We often underestimate the role of sunlight in our health. Modern life has placed us indoors, behind glass, under artificial light. Our skin rarely touches the morning sun, and yet the skin is the gateway for vitamin D. When sunlight touches the skin, it sets off a process that creates this powerful nutrient. Without regular exposure, the body becomes starved. Supplements can help, but they are not a perfect substitute for natural light. The sun, in its pure form, delivers more than just warmth. It brings life. It energizes the body on a cellular level. It awakens the systems that have gone dormant in the shadows of our routines. Vitamin D deficiency does not scream, it whispers. It comes quietly. Fatigue that lingers, bones that ache, muscles that don't grow despite training, a mood that sinks without reason. These are signs, not just of physical imbalance, but of a system that has lost its alignment. When the body loses its connection to nature, it loses its memory of strength. This is why monks, warriors, and traditional masters understood the importance of sun, breath, and movement. They knew that strength is not built in isolation from nature. It is built in harmony with it. To reclaim your strength, you must also reclaim your relationship with light. Wake with the sun. Spend time in open spaces. Let your skin breathe. Let your body feel the rhythm of day and night. This is not only about health, it is about rhythm. The body operates on cycles, and vitamin D is one of the keys that keeps these cycles aligned. When it is missing, your inner clock becomes confused. Sleep suffers. Hormones shift. Energy wanes. And slowly, the structure of your muscles begins to break down. There is a kind of wisdom that lives in stillness, and vitamin D supports this wisdom. It stabilizes the nervous system. It supports cognitive function. It strengthens the immune response. When you lack it, your system becomes inflamed. Healing slows. Inflammation rises. And the very tissue of your muscles begins to degrade faster than it can be rebuilt. This is not just theory. It is happening to millions of people right now, walking around with depleted vitamin D levels, wondering why they feel tired, why they feel weak, why nothing seems to work despite their effort. You do not need more stimulation. You need restoration. Vitamin D is not a quick fix. It is a return to balance. It is the foundation that allows all your other efforts to succeed. It is the light that nourishes not only your bones and muscles, but your discipline and clarity. The path to strength does not begin in the gym. It begins in the morning sun. It begins in quiet reflection. It begins when you realize that your body is not a machine to be pushed endlessly, but a garden to be tended with care and wisdom. Make time for the sun. Make time for healing. Do not chase strength blindly. Build it consciously. Respect the role that nutrients like vitamin D play in this process. When you have enough, your muscles respond faster. Your recovery becomes smoother. Your energy becomes more stable. Your thoughts become clearer. You do not need to fight for strength. You need to allow it. You need to create the right conditions. And then, like a tree reaching for the sky, your body will grow strong again. There is no shame in deficiency, but there is danger in ignoring it. Test your levels. Understand your body. Pay attention to the subtle changes. If your sleep is poor, if your mood is low, if your muscles are not recovering, do not dismiss these signs. Investigate. Reflect. Adjust. This is the practice. This is the discipline. Vitamin D may be invisible, but its absence is deeply felt, and its presence is deeply empowering. In a world full of complexity, sometimes the most powerful truths are the simplest. The sun rises. The body responds. And with that light comes strength, not just physical, but mental and spiritual. Do not forget this. Do not neglect what nature has offered so freely. Reconnect with it. Align yourself with it. And let your strength return not from struggle, but from balanced. That is the way. That is the lesson. And that is the true power of vitamin D. B12 is not energy. It is the spark behind energy. In a world that constantly pushes us to do more, be more, and move faster, many people confuse external motion with internal vitality. They drink coffee to stay awake. They take pre-workouts to push through fatigue. They force their bodies to perform even when the inner system is running empty. But real energy does not come from stimulation. Real energy comes from the body's ability to produce and sustain it from within. Vitamin B12 is a critical part of this process. Without it, no matter how strong your will is, your body cannot deliver the performance you seek. B12 is not a booster. It is a foundation. It supports the creation of red blood cells, which carry oxygen to your muscles. It is involved in DNA synthesis, neurological health, and most importantly, in the production of energy at the cellular level. Without this vital nutrient, the engine of your body begins to misfire. Muscle loss often begins not with inactivity, but with invisible fatigue, a kind of tiredness that even sleep cannot fix. This fatigue does not announce itself dramatically, it seeps in quietly. You feel your workouts getting harder, your stamina fading, your motivation slipping. But deep underneath, all this is a biochemical imbalance, a deficiency that blocks your body's ability to recover, to build, and to maintain muscle tissue. B12 deficiency is one of the most underestimated reasons behind this loss. It doesn't just affect the muscles directly. It affects the entire process that allows muscles to function optimally. Oxygen delivery becomes less efficient. Energy production becomes slower. Nervous system signals become weaker. Over time, strength fades not because of lack of effort, but because of lack of support. One of the most dangerous things about B12 deficiency is how slowly it can develop. The body can store it for years, which makes it easy to ignore. But once those stores are depleted, the decline can be sharp. You may begin to feel lightheaded, weak, forgetful. Your coordination may suffer. Your endurance may crash. These are not just symptoms, they are warnings. Warnings that your system is no longer firing on all cylinders. And when the nervous system is under stress, the body's ability to train, to grow muscle, to recover from stress, all of it begins to shut down. It becomes harder to gain strength, harder to hold on to it. This is the silent sabotage of deficiency. B12 is especially critical for those who follow plant-based diets, as it is found mainly in animal products. Many people switch to such diets with good intentions, hoping to improve their health, but overlook the need for this essential nutrient. Even those who eat meat may have poor absorption due to gut issues or medications. And so, the deficiency is not always a result of poor choices. It is often a result of missing awareness. Without testing, without knowledge, it becomes easy to miss. And missing it means missing the very spark that gives your body its strength. Training the body without supporting its chemistry is like trying to light a fire without a spark. You can gather all the fuel, all the wood, all the intention, but without that one spark, nothing ignites. B12 is that spark. It activates the very processes that allow your cells to convert food into energy. It keeps your mind sharp, your reflexes quick, your recovery smooth. When B12 is abundant, you feel it, not as a rush, but as clarity, as resilience, as quiet strength. You begin to notice that your endurance lasts longer. Your mind stays focused. Your muscles recover with ease. You are not just pushing through resistance. You are flowing through it. People often search for complex solutions. They look for exotic supplements, expensive routines, high-tech recovery tools. But sometimes the most profound improvements come from returning to the basics. Checking your vitamin levels, listening to your fatigue, respecting the signals your body sends. B12 is not a miracle, but its effects feel miraculous when you've been running on empty. The restoration of energy is not just physical, it is psychological. When your body feels supported, your confidence grows. When your mind feels clear, your discipline deepens. When your energy is real, not borrowed, you become more grounded, more powerful, more consistent. This is the kind of energy that builds lasting strength. Not explosive and erratic, but steady and unshakable. It does not burn out quickly. It grows slowly, like a deep current under the surface. It allows you to train harder, yes, but more importantly, it allows you to recover faster. Recovery is where strength is built. Without proper recovery, your muscles do not grow. they break down, they shrink. And so the presence or absence of B12 can directly determine whether your training builds you up or wears you down. Awareness leads to transformation. Do not wait for your body to fail before you begin to understand it. Do not wait for exhaustion to teach you what nourishment could have prevented. Begin with knowledge. Begin with a test. Know your B12 levels. If they are low, correct them, not just with a pill, but with an understanding of why they became low. Is it your diet? Your digestion? Your lifestyle? The answers matter. Because when you understand the root, you do more than fix the symptom. You strengthen the foundation. In martial disciplines, mastery is never about one great effort. It is about thousands of small, consistent actions. It is about understanding your tools, your environment, your body. B12 may be small, but it is a tool of great power. When respected, it unlocks your system. It allows your training to bear fruit. It turns fatigue into focus, weakness into growth, doubt into determination. And that is why it is not just a vitamin. It is the spark behind energy. Not seen, but deeply felt. Not loud, but essential. So look deeper. Do not just chase muscle. Understand what muscle needs to survive, to thrive, to stay with you as you grow older and stronger. Understand what energy truly means. Not a moment of hype, but a life of strength. That is the gift of B12. That is the wisdom of awareness. That is the path from depletion to power, from confusion to clarity, from potential to performance. Muscle loss is not weakness. It is the body's silent request for balance. The body is not just a machine of flesh and movement. It is an intelligent system that speaks to us through sensations, reactions, and subtle shifts. When you begin to lose muscle, when strength starts to decline, it is not a failure. It is a message. A message that something is missing, that something is out of alignment, that something deeper needs your attention. Most people interpret weakness as defeat. They see muscle loss as a sign that they are aging too fast or not working hard enough. But the body does not punish. It communicates. And the question is not, why am I losing strength? But rather, what is my body trying to teach me? Muscle is more than appearance. It is protection, function, resilience. It allows you to move with purpose, to stabilize your body, to stay agile and alive. When the body begins to shed muscle, it is not simply because you stop training. Often, it is because the internal balance between nutrients, hormones, rest, and effort has been disrupted. This is not always loud or obvious. You may still go to the gym, still lift weights, still try to push forward, but the results do not come. Fatigue lingers. Recovery slows. The body feels heavier, even when it weighs the same. And you begin to feel like you're swimming upstream, like every gain is harder to earn than before. That is not a matter of willpower. That is the body calling for balance. Too often we override that call. We ignore sleep. We ignore hunger. We ignore emotional stress. We chase progress with force, believing that strength is built through effort alone. But true strength is built through alignment. Muscles grow when the body feels safe, when it is nourished, when it is given the tools it needs. Vitamins, minerals, hydration, rest. These are not luxuries. They are the raw materials of strength. You can train as hard as you like, but if your body is depleted on the inside, the muscle will vanish no matter how much effort you apply. This is the truth many learn only after injury or burnout. And it is the truth that can free you if you learn it now. Deficiency does not just happen from not eating enough. It happens from eating without absorption. It happens from stress that blocks digestion, from medications that interfere with nutrient uptake, from routines that ignore recovery. It builds silently, layer by layer, until the body can no longer sustain what it once held. This loss is not weakness. It is a reset. The body is inviting you to slow down, to reassess, to reconnect. And when you accept that invitation, you begin to rebuild, not just your muscle, but your connection to your own health. Balance is not a passive state. It is an active pursuit. It requires attention, presence, curiosity. It requires you to ask not just what you are doing, but why you are doing it. Not just what you are eating, but how it is affecting you. Not just whether you are training, but whether your training is helping or harming. Balance is not about being perfect. It is about being aware. It is about knowing when to push and when to rest, when to increase and when to step back. And when you practice that awareness consistently, you begin to notice the small signs before they become big problems. You catch fatigue early. You address inflammation before it becomes chronic. You correct deficiencies before they drain your performance. This is what separates those who burn out from those who endure. Not just discipline, but wisdom. Not just effort, but insight. When your body loses muscle, don't shame it. Don't ignore it. Listen. Ask what is needed. Often the answer lies in places we overlook. A lack of magnesium slowing down recovery. A deficiency in vitamin D weakening the communication between nerves and muscles. Low B12 reducing oxygen delivery and mental focus. These are not abstract ideas. They are real causes with real effects. And if you choose to look deeper, you reclaim the power to change them. Muscle loss is not the end of strength. It is the beginning of awareness. It is a checkpoint, not a punishment. It is a reminder to return to what matters most: consistency, nourishment, rest, mindfulness. Strength is not built in one workout. It is built in the patterns you follow every day, in the way you start your mornings, in the food you choose, in how deeply you sleep, in how honestly you respond to stress. Every action feeds the system or drains it. And when that system is nourished, the muscle returns. The strength returns. And so does the clarity that comes with it. There is no shortcut to balance. There is only commitment. The commitment to stay connected to your body even when it is not performing at its best. The commitment to investigate rather than judge. The commitment to see weakness not as failure, but as feedback. This mindset changes everything. It changes how you train, how you rest, how you heal. It allows you to stop forcing progress and start building it from the inside out with patience, with discipline, with trust in the process. Your body is wise. It does not break down without reason. It responds to your choices, your environment, your thoughts. Every system is connected. When one part falls out of balance, the others feel it. That is why muscle loss should never be seen in isolation. It is part of a larger conversation, a conversation about how you live, how you nourish, how you recover. To regain balance, you must be willing to ask difficult questions and make necessary changes. You must be willing to slow down before you speed up, to reset before you rebuild. This is not weakness. This is mastery. When the body calls for balance, it is asking for your partnership. It is not fighting you. It is guiding you. And if you listen, truly listen, you will learn more in your weakest moments than in your strongest. You will learn how to train smarter, how to rest deeply, how to grow sustainably. And that learning will stay with you far longer than any temporary gain. So the next time you feel your strength fading, pause, do not panic. Do not resist. Ask yourself, what am I missing? What needs to change? What is my body trying to restore? And from that place of reflection, begin again. Not with force, but with alignment. Not with anxiety, but with purpose. Because when you rebuild from balance, you build something that lasts, something rooted, something resilient. That is true strength. That is the path of awareness. And that is how you transform loss into wisdom, weakness into discipline, imbalance into power.